Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're an old follower, my apologies for this long silence. If you're a new joiner, welcome. Today I want to share something really personal, but also super important on how I manage my MS symptoms through yoga and lifestyle changes. If you're living with multiple sclerosis or looking for holistic ways to improve your general well-being, stay tuned because I'll be sharing some tips that have really made a difference for me. For those who may not know, MS is an autoimmune disorder that attacks the central nervous systems, causing a long list of symptoms that include brain fog, vision problems, muscle weakness, and many others. When I was first diagnosed, I felt overwhelmed, but throughout the years, I have found ways to improve my well-being through movement and small lifestyle adjustments that have made a world of difference to me. Yoga has been a part of my life for the past 20 years or so, and I have regularly practiced both the physical activity but also the mental activity through meditation and breathing exercises. And I want to share with you some of my favorite exercises to combat any physical symptoms. Another one that I practice regularly is strength training. That have helped me take control of my muscles and maintain the strength in these muscles. So I like to work out 3 to 4 times a week with a main focus on strength training. I have my weights over here and I try to progressively increase the weight so as to build as much muscle as possible. Now, muscle building is a very important component in living with multiple sclerosis and leading a healthy life with multiple sclerosis because, well, a cause of the disease is that we start losing muscle function, right? So we want to make sure that these muscles, even though we lose function in them, that they're as strong as possible. So that's why I do 3 to 4 times a week of muscle training, 3 out of which I would do first thing in the morning at 6 in the morning, before even having breakfast, before getting to work. And that's the way for me to get all those workouts a week in. This is me on my off day. I worked out yesterday and today is a bit of a rest day for my muscles, but I'm still biking. This is good for the heart. Diet plays a huge role in managing inflammation and energy levels. I personally like to focus on anti-inflammatory foods that include leafy greens and antioxidants, healthy fats, and a lot of hydration. Besides this, I also like to keep my protein levels high, and this goes hand in hand with the strength training that I practice. This is in order to feed the muscles that I'm training and to keep them up to par and not lose any muscle mass. So, for example, a vegetable that I really enjoy eating is broccoli, and a healthy fat that I add to most of my dishes is avocado. Imagine now a dish made up of chicken breast, avocado, and broccoli. That would be an ideal dish for me. And then also adding anti-inflammatory foods such as, well, curcumin is a very useful spice that you can add to pretty much anything. Ginger is also a very useful anti-inflammatory food that is very versatile. You can add it to pretty much a variety of dishes, perhaps a stir fry, maybe to your tea. It's really up to yourself how you prefer to have your ginger, but that's a very good anti-inflammatory that I like to include in my diet. Aside from yoga, strength training, and nutrition, here are other lifestyle habits that I include in my routine. One of the most important of these is maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. Whatever fits your routine, but I personally like to go to bed at 10 p.m., maybe at 10:10 p.m. if I'm reading a super interesting article. But I keep it around that time in order for me to wake up at 6:30 the next day. In this way, I'm sure that I got my 8 hours of sleep in, or 8.5 hours, ideally, if there was no waking up in the middle of the night. Another one of these that is super important is managing my stress levels. In order to keep the stress levels down, I like to practice meditation, mindfulness, and breathing exercises in order to lower my stress. I'll be talking more about these breathing exercises in another video. Another one that is super important is to practice gentle movement. So it doesn't need to be yoga or strength training if you don't have time for that on that day, but you can simply just practice walking, going for a stroll one day. Another good habit is to maintain contact with a community of fellow people living with multiple sclerosis. This will help you have someone to talk with, whenever you feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that you're encountering related to multiple sclerosis, or when you're yourself dealing with difficulties related to the disorder. Nevertheless, managing multiple sclerosis is an ongoing journey, and what helped me may not be helpful for you. I'm merely here sharing tips that have made my life so much more bearable living with this autoimmune disorder. And I really hope that what has helped me will be able to help you. And I'll be sharing here more tips on what other healthy habits I have incorporated in my life for you to lead a better life with multiple sclerosis. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe through the subscribe button below. And if you have other tips that you would like to share with fellow MSers, please add them in the comment below. Or if you have suggestions for things that you would like me to talk about, also feel free to add it. So in the meantime, I will see you soon, guys. Take very good care of yourselves. Goodbye.